Apologies. Game here. And so I've been coming across leftists of every stripe, guys, for the past maybe 20 years. And I gotta tell you guys, with absolute certainty, I can say there's absolutely nothing worse and nothing more insufferable and awful in terms of just the energy and behavior and the vibe and the just I don't know, disposition of a Frum Jew who happens to be a leftist. My friends, no reform, no conservative, no just, non-Jew, Gentile leftist. My friends, nothing is worse than a person who supposedly, allegedly keeps Torah and mitzvot and yet is horribly, like deep down, is full of so much self-hatred and shame of his fellow Torah Jew. My friends, there's nothing, absolutely nothing worse in terms of that aspect of it, and in terms of just how the way these people behave, and just the way these people show such disdain for their fellow Torah Jew with whom they disagree. Just the way when they express themselves, my friends, it's just like there's literally, my friends, there's nothing worse. These people are the worst of the worst of the worst, tend to be. Erev Rav, ever. I'm telling you, they're worse than Reform or Conservative, my friends. They're worse. Because Reform and Conservative at least don't pretend to be connected to Torah and supposedly Hashem. Same thing with secular Jews, and same thing with, non-Jew, whatever. Nobody, they're not coming in the name of Torah. These, my friends, the people that come in the name of Torah, and you may ask yourself, Tzvi, what are you talking about? How can you be a leftist and a Torah observant Jew? How, my friends, believe it or not, these people exist. And my friends, today they took their aim at Dr. Zelenko. And this is how we know that we are over the target, guys. They took their aim at Dr. Zelenko, my friends. I mean, incredible. Dr. Zelenko mentioned, he talks to a lot of people who are not Jews. So he said that, listen, a lot of this stuff that's going on, he used the Christian term, mark of the beast. He was talking about Shmicro Schmips, which actually Shmurla himself spoke about, my friends, about taking a shmil, putting a Shmicro Schmip in a shmil, and they take it and they can track you, to make sure that you took the shmil. And then Mr. Schmab also spoke about that in a different kind of way. My friends, I don't know, and so that's how he meant it. This is a person who is treated, and thousands of people, and by extension, God knows how many use the protocol, my friends. And here we are with these so-called Frum Jews. One of them lives in Jerusalem, or a couple live in Israel. My friends, it's disgusting. It's disgusting, and it's straight up. It's almost as if they don't even know the laws of Lashon Hara at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's almost as if they don't even understand what they're doing. Not only to the person whom they're talking about, but to themselves. But my friends, again, it all goes back to living with the Parsha. Moshe Rabbeinu came and he told people, this is what's happening, this is what we have to do. And 80% of the people did the same thing, my friends. And unfortunately, guys, these were the people, who perished in the darkness. We know. These were the people who stayed behind. My friend just wrote, I came on talking about Lashon Hara, and I was thinking today how I mega need to work on my speech. Yeah, guys, listen, this goes for all of us, but I'll tell you, now we understand that we are over the target. When Dr. Zelenko, now we had Shmakala, then we had Shmalon, and now we have, my friends, Dr. Zelenko. He is in public view, and it's not a surprise, my friends. We were, his brother and I were just talking about how, it had to be a Frum Jew that Hashem gave, so to speak, the solution to, and whatever it is, and a person connected to kind of the pneumius of Torah, and a person who's learned, and a person on, on that particular level. And I was wondering, what is going to be the entity? What is going to be the path by which Dr. Zelenko would gain, notoriety, so to speak, with the Sitra Achra? My friends, it could only be these people. It can only be, the path can only be paved by the so-called Frum leftist. It can only, my friends, it can only be paved by his own people, but, a slightly diseased, if I may use that term in this day and age, a slightly kind of just, my friends, sometimes I fail to find the words. I'm better at writing, believe it or not. You guys might think I'm such a great speaker. I'm way better at writing because I sometimes fail to find the words. My friend Ephraim is way better than me at enunciate what people are thinking, at enunciating, at finding the language to enunciate and to kind of dissect and kind of just categorize what it is that people are experiencing, the human experience of the psychology of the whole thing that we're seeing in front of us. For me, it's very difficult. I don't know why, but it's I see what I'm, I know what I'm looking at, and I sometimes can't find the words to express. You know what I'm saying? But it takes in Russian we call it gnidi, just like in French in Russian we talk about like gnusные люди, like people who are just like miserable. They're not miserable maybe even in and of themselves. They could, it probably is the case, but they're just miserable. Like, it makes you miserable just listening to them, just talking to them, just hearing what they have to say, just the way they express themselves, their tone, their snideness, their smugness, their self-importance, their narcissism. Like, my friends, it's just, and it had to be these people. It had to be these people. I'm not surprised. I didn't know how it was going to come, but I'm not surprised now, guys. I'm really not surprised. But guys, all that means is that we are over the target. The flak is heaviest when you're over the target, guys. Once again, the joke that I made today, the joke that I made today, my friend is asking, why do you associate yourself with them? Why do you talk to people like them? They are toxic. I don't talk to them and I don't associate myself with them. It's just that I find myself coming across them. Why? How? Because I'll tell you a secret, my friend. Frum Maimuna. I'll tell you a secret. I'll tell you a little secret, which was shocking to me and maybe shocking to some. These people, I lived in Jerusalem up until very recently. B'ezrat Hashem may go back there very soon. These people a lot of them have gotten up and have made aliyah from places like America, the UK, South Africa, primarily America and the UK, and Australia. My friends, these people have infested Israel, and in particular, they have infested Jerusalem. There is an infestation of the phenomenon of the Frum leftist in Jerusalem, the self-hating Frum leftist. My friends, it's an infestation. Okay, I don't mean like I'm not trying to like dehumanize. These people are, I guess, human beings. What I mean by infestation is, guys, Jerusalem is a holy city. Populated, you would like to think the people that are Torah Jews that populate Jerusalem are people who have Torah values. Torah values. My friends, I mean, you can sit down and you could try to explain to me how you want. These people, if they're listening, you from Leftists, you can explain to me however you want, however you can, how it is that your values, your Torah values, reconcile with being a freaking woke leftist. Guys, I just don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I don't see it. How you can enable certain behaviors, how you can enable certain mentalities, I just don't see it. You guys have taken the Torah and you've basically tainted it more than any conservative or reform ever could, guys. Because the scary part is about you guys is that you know it very well, up and down, backwards and frontwards. Some of you have even finished Shas, and it's very difficult. The scary thing is they're very difficult to argue with you because you bring the sources where you guys have but it's in a manipulative way. Manipulative. You guys are mean. You're mean-spirited. You're nasty. You're judgmental. You spread Lashon Hara, and it's just ugh. My guys, I'm sorry to I just never met a worse group of people than these people. Honestly. Not any Reform conservative, not any, non-Jewish, Gentile leftist, whatever it is. My friend is asking me, do you feel your place is in Israel to wake people up? I used to be like them in a way, but as you can tell, I changed my way of thinking. Listen, I hear you. Don't waste your energy. Yeah, no, you're right. What I'm basically saying is the point of my message here is not really so much about them necessarily. It's about just how you really see what Moshe Rabbeinu was battling at that time. Because you're talking about whatever we're doing today, we're experiencing today, maybe times 1,000 or 1,000,000. It was these people were on the 49th level of Tumah. If you listen to Rabbi Kessin, he'll tell you that we're kind of there in our own special way, for our own level. We're kind of there as well. We are kind of at this point on the 49th level of Tumah. And so, we're waiting for the Geula. We're waiting for the Geula, but as I like to tell my friend Ephraim, and he disagrees with me because he wants to kind of skip, he wants to pass go and collect 200 shekels. But I always tell him, listen, man, you can't just pass go and collect 200 shekels. We have to go through this, process where the Torah has to play out before our eyes, where Hashem has to do what he did back then. He has to do it again, and it has to be a process. Because why? Because the process is what helps us understand that he is Hashem. That the people that are doing, as Dr. Zelenko likes to say, the deranged pagans, these regressive pagans that are doing what they're doing today, have to be shown that not only is there a God, but they have to be shown how God actually operates in this world. Whether it's within natural law, whether it's bending natural law, or it's complete suspension of natural law. You know what I'm saying? It has to happen this way, guys. And you're talking about this week's Parsha, and then we're talking about next week's Parsha, which is Beshalach, which is the splitting of the sea. Let's look at, guys, you know what I like to do? I like to just look at the Parshiot and basically just kind of, intuit what we're looking forward to. Next week's Parsha, Beshalach, is basically here. Yeah. We depart from Egypt. Pharaoh chases after us, and then Moshe Rabbeinu raises his staff. The sea splits. We pass through. We sing a song, and then, my friends, this is the part where Moshe Rabbeinu strikes the rock. My friends, instead of speaking to the rock, he hits the rock, and that's why he never got to go into Eretz Israel. But we have the manna raining down. We have the quails, the double portion. And that's actually, my friends, when we are attacked by Amalek. So, guys, watch what happens next week. I'm telling you, in the final throes of these people, in the final throes of Mousie, in the final throes of all these people, you're going to see them attack like they've never attacked, my friends. You're going to see it. You're going to see it in Israel. You're going to see it in America. You're going to see it in Europe, my friends. If you've seen videos today, scenes from Amsterdam, right? Dogs biting people's arms, you know what I'm saying? Like protesters, whatever it is. Waiting for Dov Bar-Lev to drop part of his essays. I'll tell you guys something. 1 second. Let's see. Dov Bar-Lev. Did he write anything recently? There you go. Years of Awe, .blogspot. No, he hasn't written anything since November 1st. And what's interesting? The last post he made, because Ephraim likes to talk about the 33, and I'm going to send this post to him. He's going to appreciate it. Yeah, my friends, and then we have Mishpatim, which is, we have Yisro, which is basically, Yitro advises Moshe Rabbeinu to appoint a hierarchy of magistrates and judges, and then that's when he tells us we're a kingdom of priests and holy nation, and we get the Torah, and we basically kind of, at this point when we read the Torah, when we read Yitro every Shabbos, this is when we're reminding ourselves yet again of the Ten Commandments, guys. Yes, and I know who Dov Bar-Leib is, Ria Abadir. I know who he is. I read his stuff extensively. Yeah, guys, and then we have all the parshiot that talk about, the Mishkan and the building and all these different things, guys. Basically the laws of, he said, Truma, Tetzave, Kitisa, Vayachel, Pekudei. Guys, as I like to tell my friend Ephraim, I think we're gonna see something between now and Purim, and it's interesting because we have what's called a pregnant month. We have a double Adar. Guys, we're going to see signs and wonders like we haven't seen before between now and Purim. I really feel that way. And I think B'ezrat Hashem, I think either this week or next week, guys, we're gonna see. It's funny, guys. Joe Schmogen, right? He interviewed Dr. Shmalon. It was interview number 1757, and I told Ephraim, I think if Schmogen has Dr. Shmelenko on a show, Dr. Shmelenko is going to be episode number 1770. For those of you guys who know, you understand what I'm saying. So he's going to have maybe another 12 guests on the show. I'll be really surprised if he doesn't have them on the show, guys. I'll be really surprised. And when he does, he's basically going to get removed by Shmadify, guys. When that happens, I have a feeling that's going to happen. Excuse me. Guys, with that said, always look at the Parsha and always look at what's going on in current events. I don't get the 1770. My friend, take away the 1, and what do you get? You get 770. Dr. Shmelenko is a Lubavitcher. So, as my friend likes to say, figure it out. So, my friends, now that he is known to the entire world, he will be known to the entire world. The Sitra Achor has identified him. Has re-identified him. And the Erev Rav actually have identified him, and they're bringing him out to full view. And he will be acknowledged by the world, my friends. He has to be. You know why, my friends? I'll tell you why. Because the same people that funded this gain of Shmunction research are the same people, in particular, this guy, Peter Schmazak, right? He's the head of Shmiko Health Shmalliance, right? And he's the one that went on Twitter in May 2020, and he basically said that HCQ doesn't work. What did he base his words on? He based his words on a faulty study that was retracted by the Schmancet, by the Lancet, and this is what he based it on. And he still hasn't, by the way, guys, I'm looking at the tweet, he still hasn't taken it down, you see? He still hasn't taken it down. It's still up there. From May 2020. Yeah, you see? Blah, 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 blah. Researchers found that doesn't work. Yeah, And I say, the Lancet study was retracted. They got too high doses, that's what I wrote. You held back life-saving, at-home, pre-hospital treatments from the public. My friends, okay? So, guys, we understand who's behind this. We understand who did this. We understand who paid. We understand what they did. We understand why they had to hide everything. We understand. We understand why Mr. Mousy has to do a little dance from Madden 95 on Genesis, Sega Genesis, Sega Bereshit, we understand, guys, why this is all happening. Some people are asleep. Some people are not even paying attention. And even if they are, they don't even understand what they're looking at. They don't even, or if they do understand that something is wrong, they can't really, they know something's wrong, they just can't put the pieces of the puzzle together. Well, my friends, I just did it for you. It's very easy. It's not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. Anyway, guys, B'ezrat Hashem, can I repeat the whole thing with Malchi in connection to the Parsha? The connection to the Parsha is actually less to do with Malchi and more to do with people not listening to Moshe Rabbeinu. And the connection to these kids, they are kids, they're mamish kids, 20-something and 30-something, in their 30s and 20s, going on and slandering Dr. Zelenko, basically slandering him. And saying that he said this, and saying that he said that, and basically putting him into like a box that they can categorize and then dismiss. This is what they do, guys. This is exactly what they do. Not realizing that this person will actually put out his neck to save their lives as well, because they're also Jews, supposedly, allegedly. Okay? But unfortunately, guys, 80% of them did not leave Mitzrayim, just like these guys. I have friends, guys, I'll tell you something. I have a friend in Jerusalem who tells me, Tzvi, why do you talk to these guys? And Frum, you might appreciate it. He you know what he tells me? He's like, don't talk to them. They're not gonna be here in about a year. They're not gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go further than that. That's what he says. And I say, well, I don't know. I don't know if that sometimes I have my doubts, I have my doubts. I could say, you can watch that video by Dr. There's a doctor, whatever, he's a Thai doctor in Germany, and he says, this thing eats away at certain parts of the internal system, right? And it takes time, right? So you could say a year, 2 years, whatever it is. Yeah, you say, I want to cry just hearing that. Yeah, the doctor said it himself. I'll play you guys what the doctor himself said. I'll play for you guys what he himself said at the end of the video. He goes over the science of it, right? And at the end of the video, he goes, I'll play for you guys, just 1 second. He says, hold on a second, I'll play you guys exactly what he says at the end of this video, that he himself doesn't even want to face it. Here, 1 second.
And so awful.
Oh, 1 second.
That is, in a way, extremely interesting, because no one knows what the outcome will be. However, the vision is so horrible and so awful and terrifying that I myself don't really want to know the answer, and I don't want this answer to become known. I want you to decide to not take the second shot. Not only the second shot, but any shot thereafter is going to place your life.
Guys, I want to stop that because the algo catches it. Algo catches it, as you guys know. But you see that he said, I don't even want to know myself. He just gave like a 3-minute. It was actually a longer video, 18-minute, but I cut out these 4 minutes, and he gave basically the gist of it, the explanation of how this attacks a certain part and it wears it away. Certain vessels, and you just don't know. It could be a year, it could be 2 years, and then at the end, you see his face. He's just like, this is a world-renowned microbiologist, guys, and he's just like, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to imagine the ramifications of this whole thing, guys. And guys, you know what they did to him in Germany? I'll read to you something that a friend of mine in Germany sent me of basically the English the translation. It was an interview this guy did in Germany, right? Listen to this doctor. His name is, I'll give you guys a name. I'll post his name in the comments a little bit later. But here, 1 second. This is what he said in an interview, right? He writes the following. He says the following in an interview. 1 second. He said, here. This coercion is practiced. It is practiced in Israel as well as many other countries. It is already coming. And if you do not watch out, it will come here so fast that you won't know what has hit you. He's talking about Germany. Faster than the lightning. And if you are so indolent and won't stand up to say, no, with us, you are not going to do this, then it will be all up with you. And then you will not even have the possibility to escape. Israel, the Israelis are not able to escape. The country is closed. This will happen here. Germany. And I was asked by an American what I have to say about Israel. For me, the Israelis, the people that I have been admiring for more than any people across the world, I have been admiring Jews. This doctor said it, the one I just showed you guys. Yes, you know that I'm a music lover and art lover. The greatest spirits were the Jews. Turning to the German, and then it says, turning to the German interviewer, I am sorry that I have to tell you this. I am sorry, I am a Buddhist. Supposedly referring to the Germans as Dichter und Denker people. Interviewer's answer, I have no problem with that. I adored them. You saw my record collection. I joined these Jewish musicians to get their signature. Isaac Stern, David Oistrakh. I travel hundreds of kilometers to listen to them and get an autograph. I admired them, and now they are doing this. My friends, when he said they, he meant Israel, the government of Israel. The people who had escaped from this country where very evil was, and have found their country, have turned their own country, the government has done that, into something that is even worse than what Germany was. My friends, I was recently in Israel. It's common. So inconceivable. And then I said to the Americans, that is the fatality about the Jews. They learn well. There is no people that learn better than they do. But now they have learned and implemented evil. Yes, my friends, they have. I live in Israel. The government of Israel has implemented evil. There's nothing anti-Semitic about what he said. And this is why Israel now is living hell. They're living hell, and I told that Americans, if you don't watch out now, America will also be living hell. And I'm telling you now, supposedly referring to Germany, your country is being turned into a living hell if you don't stand up soon. My friends, the German media took all this, what he said. I just read this to you in full context of what he said. He even mentioned that I love the Jews and I love Israel. And they said that he is an anti-Semite. My friends, we're up against a horrible, horrible, horrible entity, the Sitra Achra. In combination with the Erev Rav and Amalek, we're up against these people. This is what they do. This is what they do. And this doctor that I just showed you, who said he doesn't even want to imagine what's going to be, he just doesn't want to imagine. You know what I'm saying? He really doesn't want to imagine. He doesn't even want to tell you what's going to be. He can't even predict what's going to be out of all this that he's describing, at least scientifically, on a scientific basis, mechanical basis. Okay? Guys, but listen, just know, my whole thing is I like to be optimistic. We're over the target, and I hope that we identify the problem. I hope that the world identifies the problem sooner than later. And when the world identifies the problem, as much ingenuity as we had to develop this stuff, this technology, this stuff, the shmem, shmar, shmenei, right? We can just as quickly and just as equally and just as, efficiently create something that is the antidote for this. To reverse whatever this doctor is describing, guys. To reverse the eating away of the stuff inside. We can do that. We can. Humanity can. I'm sure they already have. I'm sure there's a doctor at University of North Carolina who has. I'm sure there's a doctor somewhere in China who has. I'm sure there's a doctor somewhere in Europe, in America, different places, in Israel. I'm sure of it, guys. But these people, like I said before, they have a fire sale. They have to drop inventory, get rid of inventory, and they have to sell as much as possible because they know the jig is up, my friends. Paro knows that the jig is up, and he has to let the people go. He must. And it's not just, my friends, in this case, it's not just the Jewish people. It's all of humanity, guys. So, anyway, Zat Hashem, and let's see what happens, guys, in the words of Rabbi Kessin. That's basically it. All right, I'll talk to you soon.